I've experienced a lot of investigation into beliefs, and I have a question about desire as you discuss it. To me, desire can seem conditional. So, in other words, if desires come up at me and I have something I want, then the happiness becomes fuller when I receive that.
Well, let's talk about why. Isn't that logical? Because if you have explored some contrast, maybe been without something that you want, defined the details of what you want, and have managed to line up with it, and have taken pleasure along the way of your journey of anticipation, then isn't it logical that that momentum would result in even more pleasure and satisfaction as it comes into fuller and fuller fruition? Esther bought a piece of property not long ago that, as it unfolded, as it continues to unfold, and as she experiences the expansion within it, she is recognizing in the manifestations things that were in her vortex that she didn't even realize were there until they began manifesting. So it just keeps on giving and keeps on giving and keeps on giving. Of course, there is great pleasure in manifestation. Of course, there is validation in manifestation.
So when things don't manifest,
there, so you went right where we were going to go, because that's the way you have to learn to play this. In other words, take pleasure from what's manifesting, but take no discouragement from what hasn't yet. And that's why we keep wanting to help you understand that if it's all about the manifestation and you want something that hasn't happened yet, you're sort of done. You're hindering yourself in a powerful way. So if you can take pleasure from the essence of it and then allow that pleasure to increase as the essence of it increases, and then experience the manifestation of it, it sort of is orgasmic, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the unconditional. So I guess in my experience, sometimes, I guess it's like what you just said. I think I want something, a desire comes up, it's strong, but then it ends up not even looking like what I thought it was going to look like.
Well, more and more, you will be able to identify what the essence of your desires are. Because as you and almost everybody else has become accustomed to wanting conditions and then noticing the emotion more or less after the condition, you've developed some habits. That's why we appreciated so much your opening words about the exploration of beliefs, because there's a very powerful belief that doesn't serve people, and that is, I want this and I need it to be happy. And we say, well, what you really want is to be happy in order to have that. And then a lot of people will say, but if I'm happy, then I won't need that. And we say, that's the flaw in your premise. Because if a desire is born and you can be happy even before the manifestation of it, and you're able to maintain your connection with it, when it manifests, it will be so much bigger and so much bolder, so much more satisfying.
Thank you.
This is our way of saying to you, and we really mean this, it's going to sound odd in a room full of deliberate creators. Don't let your manifestations sneak up on you and surprise you. Because they will. Because you've put them into the vortex, and then sometimes you get distracted, so you're not paying any attention, and so you allow them to manifest. But those that you have allowed with your defined and refined continuing appreciation of them even before they have manifested, when those manifest, those are sweeter and more delicious. You get the sense of that, don't you? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. And one other question I have is about my investigation of beliefs, because part of what I do is I investigate beliefs that are obstacles. So I am putting attention on those. But then as part of the process, it gets turned around and I'm left with very open to possibilities.
You know how you do know. We're just going to ask you to spell it out for us a little bit. What is your most powerful tool in the investigation of beliefs?
Inquiry into the truth of a belief.
And how do you discern the truth?
It's like a meditation. I ask myself, I identify it, write it down, and I ask myself, is it true? And I wait for my inner being to tell me. And so far, I haven't found any stressful beliefs that are true.
The reason that we are asking this question is because your point of attraction is not about truth. It's about perception. When Esther first met us in this way, she was very excited. She said to Jerry, "Oh, good, now I can tell who's lying to me." And we said to Esther, "How do you propose to go about that?" And Esther said, "Let's watch the television judge. Let's watch him with these cases that come before him, where two people are telling a very different version of the same story. And then, Abraham, you can tell me who's telling the truth." And so we all sat in front of the television. And Esther watched several hours of this. And we said to Esther, a better question is not who's telling the truth. A better question is who believes what they're saying. Because very often, both parties believed completely what they were saying. And your point of attraction is about what you believe, because a belief is just a thought you continue to think, which means it's a vibration you continue to encourage, which means it continues to be what you're broadcasting, which means it continues to be what you get back. And so these things called truths are really just practiced vibrations that law of attraction will prove out to you. So what you're talking about is, I'm wanting to ascertain, putting words in your mouth, but this is what we believe you are about in this endeavor. I want to know if my opinion about this and the opinion of my inner being are one and the same. Because that is really a question worth asking. And the tool that we were asking you to identify is your own emotions, because when your opinion about something resonates completely with what Source knows about it, you have this comfort, this satisfaction, all the way up to true, genuine, bouncing off the wall enthusiasm about it. But when you're off from your inner being's awareness or knowing about something, you feel the offness of that. And so that's why meditation is a particularly good way to go about it. You've identified what it is you're wanting to talk about. Then you go into meditation where you quiet your mind and stop thought. And then your vibration raises. And then the majority of the time, if your meditation is being effective and you have managed to soothe your resistance and allow your vibration to raise, then your knowing and the knowing of your inner being are going to be one and the same, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a good exercise, but not in the way you knew it. In other words, you are allowing your inner being to train your vibration upward on all these subjects. So it's not so much the investigation of beliefs as it is the bridging of them, the improvement of them, the alignment of them. Good?
Yes.
Enough?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
really
you.
good. That's really good.